What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to have a huge video for you. This November update is covering so much stuff. It is insane. All the games that are out right now, all that are coming out, all the news, all the stuff, all of it is coming up right now. As always, I'd like to get started real quick with a shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that I'm able to stay independent from all of these game companies so that when I review them, that is not in my mind and I'm not talking through my pocketbook, but instead my honest opinion. So if you appreciate that kind of independent review where I don't rely on them to run this channel, then feel free to look down below to a link to either of those. Additionally, I have a merch link and an Amazon link and a few other stuff, as well as a ton of links for all of this. So if you see something that you like, check in the description below. More often than not, there's going to be a link there that you can follow for either more information or to follow up. So again, I put a lot of time making sure that that's there for you. So please take advantage of it if you so desire. Additionally, a like, a subscribe, a comment, all of that helps. And with that, let's get into this because it's a lot, trust me. Okay, so this has taken me a long time to put together. It's quite a bit. And with that, I just wanted to say that the organization might not be perfect. I have a general kind of, here's all the Kickstarters, and then here's all the other stuff, and then some news information, whatever. But once you get to the news section, it's just going to kind of be like a plethora of them. There's a lot to go over here. I'm going to be putting timestamps in. That's going to take a while too because of how many there are, but I want to make sure that you guys can find the information you need. So there'll be, again, in the description, there'll be a list of everything with a timestamp. You can click on that. It'll take you right there to the video. But for now, strap in and get prepared. Seriously, don't stand and watch this video. Take a seat, get comfortable, grab a drink, pause the video if you need to, because I'm going to need a drink probably halfway through this anyway. All right, let's go and get started. So starting out, I actually wanted to start here with Here Be Dragons Into the Unknown. Not by Into the Unknown. It's just, that's just a term. It's by Toadie's Design. I don't know who Toadie is. But it's their design. And actually it's not apostrophe S, so it's not a possessive thing. I don't know exactly what Toadie's thing is going on there, but maybe it makes sense in Stockholm. I'm not sure. They actually reached out to me just asking for advice, just saying like, hey, what can we do to make this better? Because if you notice or not, they're not exactly funded yet, though they are over halfway. They're definitely making good progress there. And I wanted to actually start out here because I think it actually looks like a pretty unique and interesting and kind of a nice change of pace to maybe what I cover in this channel, but just in general, it looks like they're trying and they're doing a good job, and I feel like they should be kind of rewarded with that. So I wanted to start out here, and again, a link to this down below if you're interested. Essentially, and they have like this nice little kind of play thing, and they have like they show you a bit of the game where you can do different upgrades and unlock new technology and go on quests and make decisions there and then fight these monsters and fight corruption. It's a competitive exploration game where you're kind of exploring the different hexagon map tiles and upgrading your city and your technology and again fighting dragons and all sorts of stuff. Honestly, it looks really cool. I actually like the art. And I just think it actually looks like it could be quite a bit of fun. It looks like how you build your people are different. Also, they're introducing these new bosses, which are kind of cool. So this Kraken, they have in the update here. Come on. Get to it. Right here. So they have it where, it's like, it can spawn these tentacles. So you have to fight the Kraken plus its tentacles. And then there's some idol that has to do with it. Maybe it's an event. Maybe it's an item. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but it obviously does some stuff within the game that you have to deal with. So not only are you kind of exploring these areas, but then a freaking Kraken appears and you got to deal with that, or the Devourer Dragon and stuff like that. Honestly, it looks pretty cool. I would love to see this eventually evolve into a miniatures game. I think that'd be freaking awesome, actually, to have, your little miniature people there as you're going around, going on quests and doing different stuff. Anyway, it looks like a very interesting game, and so I thought, not only does this, I don't want to put this on the channel, but I'll put this first so you guys can see. You can fight the werewolf and the cockatrice and the worm and the basilisk and all these. I mean, I love the art, by the way. Like, this art style is actually really, really nice. For some reason, it reminds me of like old school Magic the Gathering, if that makes any sense. And I think that fits just with the rest of the art in the game. Anyway, so that's that. Moving on, we got a lot here. Next, we have Velocity Vanguard. Now, this is, you know, a kind of a you know, 1 to 4 players, I guess. Kind of your typical sci-fi kind of board game, except it has like the story-driven missions and all this other kind of stuff. But what I liked about it is what it says right here. It's a physics-based board game with fast and kinetic gameplay. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you look, and I mean, I like the design of the ships actually more than most. Especially I think these look really darn cool. Like you see these right here, like that I actually really like. I like this one. A lot of times I don't like the design of those sci-fi ships. I don't know why, but this actually looks pretty good. This right here, this kind of physics-based movement. I think they have a GIF of it that I could show you. I know they show it. And maybe it's further down. I'll go further down. It looks really cool. So you have like this arrow, and it kind of guides how you're moving in a very cool way, I thought. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so see, not only that, but then you can turn and then you just keep sliding, right? Because you're going like this and you keep going because it's all physics based and you have inertia and all that kind of stuff. And so you can like apply your thrusters to move in different directions. It looks to me like you'll pretty much always be moving. I don't even know if you can go to stop. You'd have to, again, reverse your thrusters just enough to counteract your movement kind of thing. But that is really cool, I think, and something that kind of spices up maybe the gameplay a little bit. Otherwise, again, the art looks good. I really like these. I think it's an A-wing, but it's a cool looking A-wing, and that's really what matters, right? That's how cool it is. This looks cool too. It's by Precarious Games. It's their first created, but it seems like it has a good scope. That being said, again, 10,000 out of 84,000, so it definitely has some oomph to go. One of the issues, if I was to say that they could improve, is there's no video. This isn't a video. Like, I want to watch you pitch your game with these, just, even if it's these graphics you already have put together and with a little voiceover that you do yourself, that's fine. It doesn't have to be super professional. It just needs to kind of show me the game really well. And they do have a few kind of here's how to play it stuff, which is nice. I think that's great. So see, you got the story-driven campaign missions and stuff like that. You got the different factions. I mean, it looks nice. I like it. It just, and this all looks professional too. So I'm just surprised there's no video. I don't know if it's the video's fault or not, but anyway, that is Velocity Vanguard. Again, link down below. Moving on, we have Endless Winter, Paleo Americans. I mentioned this before in my previous video, but I just want to say, not only is this going like 18 days, this is going like several weeks into November, so you'll have a while to do this, but it's at, what, 273,405? Not bad. Congratulations. That looks like to be doing good. This is Fantasia Games' first created Kickstarter, and it is a success with 3,500 people backing it. I think that's awesome. So they're busy unlocking cool stuff, and look at that. I love wolves. Knights and wolves are like my two favorite things in the world. I don't know why, but I nerd out over them. Look at all this stuff. So a lot of premium upgrades and just making it the best darn version of the game you can get. So I think that's awesome, and I love the theme. Knockdown board game added a Tainted Grail version of it. So last time I talked to you about the Nemesis one, which was still advertising heavily. But they now have, if I scroll, right here. Okay, so they have the Tainted Grail version. And again, I actually think these miniatures are, like, way more dynamic in a cool way. Like, this guy in the game is just kind of, like, holding out his lanterns, right? And here he's, like, being active, which I think is cool. He might be breaking into a dance pose. I'm not actually sure there, but overall, I like the design of the miniatures here a lot more. Like, I like smacking the ground with the briefcase. So I don't know what's going to be next, but they have Nemesis and Tainted Grail and then the normal one. So who knows what's next? Let's see if we can get maybe a hint. Let's take a look here. What is next? Maybe The Edge? Maybe they're doing that. Some Dawnfall. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Next we have the King's Armory. This is an interesting one. Okay, so first of all, this guy, he's made like 17 of them, right? So none of them have been like huge, but this is essentially a second edition of the board game. He made one a long time ago. Again, only 536 backers, but at 66,000, which means people are backing it at a pretty high price, which is, I think, quite impressive. It hasn't funded yet, but it has 28 days to go, so you pretty much have all of November to decide. It's a tower defense game that's very traditional tower defense. You have the towers and you have the lanes and the enemies going through and you got your people and they're on like stacks of tokens is what you're kind of attacking here. I don't know about the drop in drop out system. Hopefully it's not long enough to really warrant that. It has a solo option, which actually would probably be pretty good with this. I love tower defense games. I'm not good at them, but I like them. I'm good at them until they get to the point where you have to do stuff fast. And then I have the same problem with like an RTS game, like a StarCraft or Warcraft or something like that, Command and Conquer, where it's just like, I can't, there's stuff going out anyway. But I do enjoy them. The miniatures look very blah to me. They definitely are, kind of indie space miniatures, definitely not sculpted the best, probably not going to be the best plastic you've ever seen. But they're okay. I mean, they're not terrible. They do have some odd base sizes, but all the bases are sculpted, which is kind of nice. However, there is some oddity I'm going to point out here because it bothers me. But, I mean, you get plenty of them, right? So you get all these different sorcerers and archers and foot soldiers and psionics that you can kind of spawn, clerics even. You have the 3D towers that are, doing stuff and you're playing cards to kind of keep all the enemies at bay. Again, I love the gameplay loop of upgrading and building up infrastructure for tower defense games. I think that's awesome. One interesting thing I found is that a lot of people are smiling in the game. And I don't know why it bothers me, but I want people to be fighting and not smiling. I'm sure I want people happy, and everybody's happy in this game. And I don't know why, like even on the miniature. So here, we'll get to it. There's a lot of scrolling here. I know. Okay, so we're gonna start here, and she's got a little bit of a smirk there, right? It's definitely not flat. She's a little smiler. That's pretty flat, so that one's good. And then we got a full on smile here. And look, even her art isn't smiling, but she is smiling, like cheeks, like super happy just to be a master cleric. I get it. He's smiling. No smiling, not the monk. He doesn't smile. He's smiling. And again, he's not smiling in his art, but on his miniature, he's posing for the camera, saying cheese. This guy, super happy to not have a shirt on. Super happy about it. And there's a lot of these like this, and it just kind of, I wasn't really, even the Wolfman has a little bit of a curl up there. I wasn't expecting so much smiling. Smiling too. Look, she's not even like, she says, ha 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 ha. And, at least her like crazy ghost bear thing is kind of in attack mode, but it's kind of weird to fight all these bad guys with smiling dwarves and just happy people. I don't know. It's just, it weirds me out. Anyway, I've probably spent too long on this. I just thought that was kind of funny. I like the idea of it. I don't know how it plays. But again, maybe you do. If nothing else, other people have already played this game, at least a previous version of it. So I'm sure there are people that are willing to kind of talk about it, which is always better on us as consumers when this has been in people's hands, like the real thing, and they can tell you, hey, this is how it plays, so you can know if it's for you or not. And it has a video. Okay, next up, Freedom 5. You guys have been asking me to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about it. Freedom 5, by the way, doing quite well. 2,600 backers at $350,000 almost. Not bad. 14 days to go by Arcane Wonders, so they're not a no-name. I love the art. I think the minis are cool. I think they'll paint up nice. They're larger, which is great. This guy, I think, looks a little silly. But other than that, I think everybody else looks pretty neat. It's all awesome. I love the comic books. I love the idea of being a crime fighter. My one hiccup here is that I feel like it's like every other miniature-based superhero game. And in that, what you always get, whether it's Hero Deed, whether it's Freedom 5, whether it doesn't really matter. It seems like even Marvel United was like this. You have essentially different city locations on a map, and then you just put your person in the different locations and are trying to manage as bad things happen throughout the city. And I don't know why people can't make another genre of board game with superheroes. It seems kind of odd that they all do that. As far as I can tell, every single one has you just going to different parts of the city and then managing as essentially henchmen. It's like Pandemic, but with superheroes, right? So the henchmen are growing and the master plan's growing and stuff are happening, and you have to manage to keep all those down. That's Freedom 5 as well. It's the exact same kind of thing. They have the city map, and you're just going from location to location as different bad guys pop up, and you're managing the bad guys. I like it in concept, but I've seen that done with superheroes every other time I've seen superheroes with miniatures in a board game. So it's not enough to really to get me excited. And really, as a superhero, I don't really feel like a superhero when all I'm doing is essentially doing a kind of a board management, right? I feel like managing a board is not very superhero-ish, right? It's, oh no, there are too many yellow guys. Let's go get the yellow guys. Oh no, he's now doing this, so we need to go to this location and deal with that. And essentially, you're managing the board until you get a spare turn to be able to attack the bad guy. And then you do that. And then you do that, and then hopefully you got enough spare turns to attack the bad guy and not manage the board to where you win. And I like it as a concept. I think the minis look cool. I like the design. I like where they're going with that. If it was almost any other genre, I'd probably even back it, because I love superheroes. I'm the guy who played City of Heroes. I'm the guy who has the City of Heroes emulator. I'm the guy who still plays DC Universe Online sometimes. I love superheroes. I'm all about it. I don't know. I guess it's just not quite for me, this genre. And it seems that every time I get excited, whether it's Heroes of Need or anything like this, I just get so bummed when it's just go to different city locations and manage as bad guys pop up. Yay. Anyway, but if that is for you, though, it looks like a solid game. You can go from Secret Identity to your kind of overt thing and kind of manage that. The game mechanics seem solid and all that. It's just the genre that I've seen a ton of times before with the exact same settings. Okay, so next up we have Neo-Morphosis Infestation. Now, as you may have noticed, I'm staying logged in. You can see exactly what I'm backing and what I'm backing at. I'm not gonna bother trying to be impartial or say, like treat it like all of these are equal or whatever. Like, so I've backed Neo-Morphosis Infestation. You can see that clearly. I'm just I'm just gonna show you the stuff that's out there and tell you my honest opinion. My honest opinion is I'm giving $90 to these guys. So in all fairness, I like the style of this. I don't have a lot of sci-fi games, and most of the sci-fi games that I have certainly don't have the style like these guys do. Painting these up, I think, would be awesome because of the color palette that they've chosen. The enemies are kind of a mix between real Xeno-like stuff and Cthulhu stuff, but they're not Cthulhu, which I appreciate a lot. The main draw to me is, first of all, it's kind of that management of the SIP board, I think is what they call it, where essentially the enemies are attacking the base and stuff around the base, and you're having to manage the base and keep the base up to date. And then the evolving or metamorphosizing, or whatever they call it, the aliens. So as the aliens evolve and become stronger, you're kind of dealing with that. That combined with the crafting thing, where you have essentially like, a gun and then you slap another part on it because you can, and so now it's this different thing. I like that as well. I think that's pretty cool. And they seem to be doing better. They've already raised more than they did before the last time, which is great. This is the second time it's on Kickstarter. And they're unlocking a good mix of sculpted bases and cards and component upgrades. And I like how the stretch goals are going. They seem to really be doing good there. So you get the double thick SIP board, and then you get different enemies and heroes and cards and upgrades and all that kind of stuff, which I think is great. So I'm happy to see all those updates. I think that's going really well for them, and I hope it continues to go good because I think it looks good. Additionally, there was an early bird, and so again, my opinion on early birds are, if an early bird's there, as a consumer, back it. It costs you nothing, and then see if it's for you. If it's definitely not for you, drop it. But either way, you grab that early bird. It just in case something comes up and you come back, oh no, I missed it. And then you can always just do the whole, before the last 2 days, go in and see everything that's been unlocked and where it's been going. They've normally done a lot of updates where they talk about all the game components and, deep dive into different aspects of the game. So you can really make a good sense of it, if it's for you or not. That's great. Additionally, by the way, they did an early bird of 48 hours plus 48 hours, which is kind of cool. And so it looks to me like this early bird is still there. So I don't know if it'll be there when I post this tomorrow. I'm recording this at night. It's 12:22 a.m. So there you go. Now you know the time of day that I'm recording this. Anyway, it looks really cool. I like it. It plays different than all my others, has a different style than all my others, and a genre that's not very touched, so I'm all about it. I think that's great. And it, $90? Yeah, why not? It's pretty sad when anything under $100 is like, yeah, why not? It's like chump change for these. Nova, Aetas, Renaissance. Again, I'm at the 119. This is actually kind of interesting. I just picked the 119 here because it was the cheaper of the 149. When it comes to the early bird. Again, I just wanted to grab an early bird. I'll figure out what I want to do afterwards. There are so many Kickstarters right now. I'm doing the late pledge game. It's just how I have to do things. I'm not made of unlimited money. And so I'm just kind of making sure I get any early birds that look good. And then I'll figure out the game. And then I'll figure out what I can end up affording in the pledge manager. And so I probably won't add anything to any of these. Just because you're going to see there's a few of these. That being said, this looks really good to me. It really does. I love the 3D terrain. I love how kind of concise the boards seem. You're going to see that in an expansion here in a second. I love the miniature design. I think it looks very nice. Again, they won't look quite this good, but they're going to look very nice and decent. I think you can get up on terrain. I think that's something that slipped by me before, but the fact that you can get up on there. You can talk to NPCs. You can go inside of buildings. You can do all this kind of stuff. They got, different scatter terrain. This holororgium or whatever the crap that is super cool. So essentially, not all your actions are equal. So in a lot of board games, it's like, oh, I moved and then I attacked and that's my turn. And I do that each time. Or I did the spell. Well, here it's like you could move a lot and then not do an attack, but then somebody who did an attack and then has to recover versus somebody who did either way, each action has a certain amount of way you're going to go around this wheel. And so you could pass somebody else who then does a small turn and then has another turn before you act again. Or vice versa. If you're doing a bunch of small actions, you're going to activate before the person who did the big action. And so it kind of changes the turn order and stuff like that. And you just follow that depending on your actions you're actually doing, which I think is super cool. I really like that. It's got crafting. It's got these hunts. These are kind of cool. So if I scroll down here, look at that guy. He looks awesome. So they have these big hunts, like the Chimera is one. I think the Clockwork Golem is one. The Boogeyman probably is one too. I imagine they're just kind of down here. Maybe not. Maybe he's a mercenary. I don't know. Where you can, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 12, if you ever played that, where you can just kind of take the mission and then go and fight the Chimeras, like a side quest kind of thing, where you go and then maybe you can craft special gear afterwards or something like that. I think this version of the Chimera actually looks pretty darn cool. I like that. Additionally, they have pets. I'll get to the pets soon. Love that board style. That's because your class is upgraded, like Final Fantasy Tactics kind of thing, where it's like, my black mage turned into this, or, or whatever it might be. A lot of kind of, hidden envelope stuff going on there. Lots of cool terrain and maps and overlays and tokens. And I really like all a campaign map. I like all, it looks like you're in California. I really do like this stuff. I think that looks great. 100-page campaign book, not too long, but looks very decent. 40-page rule book. It's about as long as I like them if I can help it. Crossover material for Black Rose, which is super cool. I think that's nice. This guy looks awesome. I think that's great too. And again, he has his own map. So another map that you can get based off, again, these expansions that I'm not really going towards quite yet. What I wanted to point out, we're almost there. Maybe. I don't know, we're at stretch goals now. I feel like that may be too far. Oh, wait, no, I think we're good. Okay, so, yes. Okay, so they're having a Halloween rush. I think it's 700,000, which they're close. By October 31st, which is coming close, then we get this jack-o'-lantern dude, and he looks freaking sweet. I love the mix between the scarecrow and the pumpkin, and then you add to that the kind of the hangman's noose and the lantern, and I just think it looks super cool. I like the look of what that's going. Look at the cute bear and pig. You get pets, and I think they do a lot of pets, which is whatever. I think they're cute. My daughters get a kick out of them. They did in Black Rose Wars. They will here too. Unlocked the BGG one. So we got the Mila, the bear pet. And if you want Fratigilia, the boar pet, well, it looks like we unlocked that too. Hey, look, we unlocked both. Yay, go us. And the Boogeyman. Why not? Enemy and mage. So he's a good guy and a bad guy. Means he's probably a mercenary. Okay, anyway, super cool stuff. And again, I love the design that they have going on here. Okay, Feed the Kraken. This one's kind of interesting. First of all, I like the little Kraken mini that he has. This has raised almost 1,000 backers, 72,000, almost 73,000, which again, is, I think, quite good considering the, kind of the scope of this and it's day 2 of 21. So it's just getting started. We've got plenty here. What is this game? This game, first of all, okay, look at this GIF here. This is the best thing I've seen on Kickstarter in some time. Hands down. I love it. I love everything about this GIF. What this GIF shows is exactly why I play board games. Every single thing here I love. I love that it just shows people's reactions, and I love how it just shows those kind of cool moments. Like, some of this is just, people talking about it and being excited about it and dressing up as it and all that. And while I don't do that per se, I love the group things when stuff happens and people are like, oh, that happened. And I love it. I like, they're like chanting, to do different things, and it's great. It's great. I don't even care necessarily how fake it necessarily is, so it looks pretty. I mean, if people are faking, that's pretty bad. Like this guy, I don't know what happened there, but he just leans back in his chair. I love it. Seeing this makes me want to experience that. That sells this game more than anything else on this whole page. I don't even care what the rest of the page says. That is awesome, and I'd love to see that happen more often. I can't get enough of that. I know I'm talking about it a lot, but I love this. That's why I play board games. For those moments where I can just get around and just have a great time and laugh and shout and chant and cheer and do all that stuff. It's wonderful. Also, I think they have a sense of humor because they have I love social deduction games. Why I don't like social deduction games. I think that was just a great kind of combo there. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I noticed it. Okay, so it's a social deduction game essentially, but with a lot of player interaction. You essentially have pirates who know all of each other. And then you have, it's kind of like, Bang or any of those other kind of things, right? And then you have the kind of the regular sailors, and then you have these weird cultists that want to steer the ship different directions and feed the Kraken and stuff. And so it's just people trying to steer the ship and you deciding where it goes. The art, by the way, I think looks great. I actually really like the art. I think it seems like there has a lot of life. And again, it just looks like fun. To be honest, and it's $56. That's probably about as much as I would do, but it does have minis, right? Which is kind of nice. What is this? Actually, no, it says 47 here. Oh, that's right. It's not US dollars. That's where I got the 56 from. But it looks fairly premium, right? You got the magnetic, logbook thing, and then these sculpted wooden guns and stuff like that, and lots of tokens and cards and whatnot. And then, of course, the minis as well. And then you have the deluxe edition. That's where the minis come in. That's about 93. So now I feel like we're kind of pushing it. But, that's just me. For a social deduction game, I feel like that's a lot. I'd probably just go with the basic edition, actually. But either way, I just wanted to really, really give a shout out to that top gift. That is so awesome to see. I love that. And I hope that other board game companies can celebrate board gaming as much as this GIF does. I think that's the most I could ask for from any game company ever. So, who are you? Funtails GmbH. Good job on that. All right, moving on, we have Core Space Firstborn. I kind of mentioned this before too. I don't know exactly how it plays it. I honestly haven't looked too far past this, because I love 3D terrain. And not only that, but when I mentioned this on my last video, several of you, and yes, I read all the comments, I don't have enough time to answer them all nowadays, and I do apologize for that. I spend hours doing it, but it's just not enough. And I really wish I could, but I do read them all, at least so far. Sometimes it gets a little much, sometimes I'm in bed and my wife tells me to turn off my phone, but I do try to read them all. Anyway, a lot of you guys actually were like, hey, I love this game, this is great. And I wasn't expecting that. I mentioned a lot of games, and this game got more comments than any other along those lines of like, hey, this is a great game. Which tells me a lot, because I trust you guys a lot. You guys are some of the smartest people that I know on YouTube by far. And low bar, right? But I mean, even if it was a higher bar, you'd probably still pass it. No, seriously though. I mean, you guys know what's what, and if you say it's good, I'm okay saying, hey, you guys say it's good, so I'm assuming it probably is, and I just need to kind of look into it and see if it fits my group. My group. I said that weird. This guy looks super freaking cool, by the way. I dig him. I like that. I kind of mentioned this before, and like I like the design of this guy. They just look unique. You can be this little kind of robot dude who looks super. He's like the C-3PO with him, and then there's Wade shooting his gun sideways, and Cassie there who looks like he's the cool hotshot pilot kind of guy. I think the design looks great. The enemies have grown on me. I know last time. Look at the terrain. Oh, that's so awesome. Love it. Look at that terrain. Ooh. Love terrain. Love it. Yes, give me all of the terrain. Anyway, looks super cool. About $116 to normal, kind of $120 for minis and a premium game board as far as I'm concerned. So looks super cool. There they are painted. You can kind of see them. I love the little alien guys and stuff like that. And again, the robot is probably my favorite there. Looks neat. I like it. And again, all these links in the description below. We are still looking at Kickstarters. There's a ton left. I need to hurry up. There's a ton. It's a big one. I did warn you guys ahead of time. There's a lot. Cthulhu Investigators. This is just miniatures, not a board game. However, I thought this looked fairly unique and fairly nice, so I figured I'd point it out. It's at about 8,000, which for STLs is, I think, quite good. But you can also get resin and metal minis in this. So you kind of have your thing. Now, I have a 3D printer. I'm going to have a video on it here soon. I can 3D print things. Let me find something. Here. This is Mr. Freeze. This is Mr. Freeze's head. I'm going to have a big Batman diorama. It's freaking sweet. You're going to love it. This is his gun. Again, it's going to be big. It's going to be cool. So I've been 3D printing, so I've been looking at STLs a little bit more. You'll see a little bit of that sprinkled in throughout here. I just thought that these looked good, right? I mean, I think they stood out. When you get a lot of Cthulhu Investigators, especially from like, Kingdom of Death, or Kingdom of Death Monster, Cthulhu Death May Die, you get kind of the more, I won't say hokey, because that's not the right word, but just more ho-hum, right? And I feel like all of these characters, who, again, still come from that kind of era, right, just have a little bit more personality. Like the fact that they gave him the cane, I think is great, or the fact that they have her kind of crouched and, with the gun out, very much investigating, or this guy, reaching back behind him. And I just thought that, or reloading. I don't know if I've seen another miniature that's reloading. Like, if you look at this guy, he's literally like reloading his shotgun, which I think is awesome. Like, it just isn't, and it's a all ornate shotgun going on there and stuff. It just looks very cool. I dig it. Or her, she's about to, reload it and kind of set it up for more. I just thought they looked really, really nice. And and they have this guy too, which I'm, I care less about actually, but you have it. Anyway, I think it looks super cool. They're getting some unlocks, and so you're going to get more and more. And again, you can, even if you don't 3D print, you can still get your copy of it. Looks pretty darn good. All right, moving on. Warcaster's Mechanica. I don't know which is which. This is by Privateer Press. As a painter, I know who they are, right? The minis look super cool, like they look awesome. It seems really pricey, and it's probably because they're really, really nice minis, I'm sure, but it does seem pretty pricey to me. So if we get past the like retail stuff here, it's $80 for this. And normally on Kickstarter, we see these big scrolls of like, look at all the stuff you get. And it's like, no, you get this. That's your thing. There's some digital rewards, and there's some upgrades as unlocks and stuff like that. But I was kind of surprised, I guess, by just there's your minis, and again, they look great, especially painted up like that. I want to paint them up like that. I can't do that. I really like the design of them. I think they look great. I'm sure it's a really, really cool game to play. I love I really like the design. It seems pretty unique to me. They have like these kind of tail things that keep kind of bringing them all together as a cohesive unit, which is pretty neat. But anyway, yeah, so here's $80 and you get that. That's what you get. It's cool that they have the different weapon options. Again, it's kind of a typical tabletop game, probably priced similar to, which kind of makes sense. And of course, there's, here's $80 and you get 2 minis, right? So way more expensive than I'm willing to jump in, which is unfortunate. I was kind of looking forward to, but it's whatever. Nothing has to be for me. That's fine. That's fine. All right, next we have Townsfolk Tussle. Again, I back to this one. So which is funny because I already have it. It's over there. You can't see it, but it's there. Anyway, this is kind of interesting. I have pretty much this whole game, right, in prototype form. But I really, really enjoyed it, and I could keep playing this, and I'm sure I will. The reason I backed it is because, first of all, I think I was so impressed with what they did that I definitely wanted to do a kind of a final version of it, and kind of buy into the model. Additionally, the miniatures, I think, look very fun to paint. They definitely would be they kind of remind me of stuffed Fables, which was also a fun one to paint, just because it's so different, and you're using all these different colors that you don't normally get to use, and the style's different. And so anytime I see miniatures that completely stand out from anything else I own, I'm kind of interested just by default as a painter and as somebody who appreciates miniatures. So the miniatures will be nice. The better storage will be nice. The better quality components will be nice. As good as the prototype was, it still is a prototype. And I can then give away the prototype copy to one of my patrons probably sometime in the future. I think that'd be fun. It's always nice when it's like this nice game that they get to play, and it's like, hey, I got this like sneak peek edition, and it's kind of cool, and it's just a nice way to reward them as well. So if I have the opportunity to get that, and then I can give away that, I think that's awesome too, because then my patrons get a little bit out of it. And again, I think they're really working hard to do their best. They've already unlocked a whole bunch of stuff, and they're working. Let's actually go to that, because they're working on some new stuff, because they pretty much unlocked all of their stretch goals that they planned to. Like they like were blown away. But I mean, look at these minis, by the way. It just looks like fun. Even though I'm like highly suspect about like the knife tip on Virginia Fitz there working out. Right? Like, how's that going to look? Like, fingers are already hard enough, and you get the finger plus the knife on there. Though, it is important to remember that these are oversized, right? These are larger miniatures. So that will help a little bit. Anyway, okay, so going to stretch goals. So, again, unlocked a whole bunch of stuff. Game trays, look at that. Okay, they're going to be adding something else. So they are still adding stuff, which I think is cool to see. Okay, anyway. That's Townsfolk Tussle. Next, we have Darkest Dungeon, the board game. Again, back to this at 150. Super excited about it. I love the PC game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very addicting. And even when I do rage quit, when 3 of my people die and I run away, all scared with my tail tucked between my knees, like I did the first time I came across a necromancer. Guess what? He can be in a random room. Guess what? He adds people. Anyway, it gets bad. Anyway, so bad stuff happens all the time. Or I'm rolling up with my C team, because my A team is all recovering or too overpowered for what I'm doing, and my B team is recovering, and so I'm on like the rookie group, and I'm like, oh, they have nothing, and I die anyway. Anyway, it's a fun game. The board game looks like it's going to be cool, and this is Mythic's biggest game yet. Hell was, and now this is already past 18,000 backers. 18,000 backers. 2,635,000 and growing. They obviously hit a chord here. And I think this is what happens. Because I don't even think this is Mythic. And no offense to Mythic here, but it's more fundamental than just Mythic has a profile, which they do. They've always been successful. They've never had a game that's really flopped. They've had some that have cost them a lot, like Solomon Kane, with tons of development time, right? But even Solomon Kane did quite well on Kickstarter, right? Like, they've never done bad. Steamforged, no, what was it? Steam Watchers, I think was probably the lowest one. Maybe that one could be considered kind of an underperformer, perhaps. I'm not sure. Depends on what they expected from it, I guess. Because I think Enchanters, they were just kind of... I'm sorry. Okay, this is what happens when you get a beloved franchise and then a company that understands what makes that good and tries to encapsulate that and deliver the best product they can with a high reverence for the source material. In other words, it's something Steamforged Games doesn't do with theirs. No, seriously though, like, Mythic Games has really captured the look down perfect, which is hard to do going from 2D to 3D. It really is. They had it kind of cut out for them. The art style of the maps, I think they did. The uniqueness of, this is still a good board game, but then they have that. I think it's great. There's been some talk about, like, how much tokens you have on the board or something like that. From what I've seen of the playthroughs, I think it's just messy people. who have like just every token ever on the board, and they have 2 different piles and stuff like that. I'll tell you one thing, when I set up a board game, it's much cleaner than that. I'm a little OCD about it perhaps, but seriously, I think that makes it look way worse. Storm Thunder is a really, really awesome game. Storm Thunder has more crap on the table than that. It just does. It has, Storm Thunder alone has like 16 status ailments, all with their own tokens. I'm not going to make 16 piles though of them. I just have about 2 of each. And then if I need to grab more, I can grab more. But otherwise, it's like 2 of each, and they're just kind of all together. And you just, grab the stun versus grab the poison, or, whatever it might be. So I've played heavier games, and I'm not actually concerned too much with that. That being said, I haven't played it. I've only read the rulebook. I would love the opportunity to play it, but it's up to Mythic Games now, isn't it? Their unlocks look awesome. I love the party torch marker upgrade. Oh, you can put it on the map. I think that's cool. All of these I recognize instantly from the video game, which is awesome to see. It just, I don't know, they're unlocking tons of stuff. They got the Cove, they got the Crimson Cord, they got the Warrens out now, which means there's still more to come. Who knows how much this thing's gonna cost, but they look like they are. Look at this mini. This mini right here is probably my single favorite mini. It's just really, really good. It's so unique. I love how his base ends here and he just keeps going. He's like, screw base size. I'm not confined by this base. Are you? I love it. I love when they do that. And a lot of them do that. Like this guy here, look. The base is just there to help him stand up. It's not a frame for him to stand in and kind of be confined in. I think it's great. All of this, I think, looks just fantastic. And I'm excited for it. I really am. I like what I see, even if I have to fight a mammoth cyst. Okay. All right. Now, finally, I think I'm out of Kickstarter. And I'm into just like stuff coming up and all that kind of stuff. I know that was a lot. I know. Let's get started. It's been like 40 minutes. Burncycle, coming to Kickstarter in November 2020. I've already said this is by Chip Theory Games. They, again, make very successful campaigns. They do really high component quality. And I'm excited to see what this is. Also, it has a nice little spinny thing that spins with your mouse scroll. And I to mess with that too much. I don't know too much about it yet, though. This is really just kind of all I have, so I'm looking forward to actually seeing this. And of course, I'll have it in a future video in November. Next up, Signum Games is having a very exclusive kind of miniature, so if you're into that, you can get him now. It's only until November 1st, that's why I'm telling you now, just because even if I don't necessarily subscribe to everything Signum Games is ever doing, if you're interested in this, it is limited availability, so I wanted to let you know so that even if I'm not, if you are, and I think, it looks, let me zoom in on this, like, it looks really nice. The trim on the dress looks great. Wrinkles look good. I like the little bit of damage that's there. He looks cool with his little, like, kind of back guy up there. It's a well done mini. It will be available afterwards, but only from, like, loyalty points or some junk like that. So if you want it, you should get it now. And again, link to all this below. Battletech Clan Invasion. I have not said that word in a long time. Battletech Clan Invasion. Battletech Clan Invasion. Just said it like 3 times. 75% packed up. Now, 75% seems like a made up number just because it's a 25, increment. But they're 2/3 or 3/4 of the way. Packing that up, which is cool, including the entirety of Canada. So that's cool. And then they'll move on to Parks Nightfall, whatever that game is. Okay, this is big. This is Orbital. This is by the people who did Terraforming Mars. It's their next kind of thing. It looks interesting. I don't know what's going on there. I'm assuming people are bringing stuff into this. Don't know for sure, but it looks cool. Then we have, I'm trying to go quick here. We have Vindication Expansion Chronicles. This will be December 9th. I know it's in the November thing, but they announced it now, so I want to tell you now, and then in December we'll cover it. But obviously Vindication has been huge for Orange Nebula, and so getting a new expansion is still going to be huge as well. And it looks awful pretty for a box. Okay, I'm going to do a quick shout out here to Great Grimoire. I recently did a Patreon for that because, again, I have a printer, need some 3D files. The reason I'm shouting them out is because, first of all, she's quite new. I think she's doing a wonderful job. And in fact, she was at like 100 and some odd. Maybe she was at 150, maybe. Either way, she's growing very fast, and I expect her to have great success because these look super cool. As of posting this, you can still get the October one, so you can still get everything you see here. But obviously that'll swap to the November one once we get there. One of the reasons I thought she stood out, one of the reasons why I thought I'd give her a shout out. First of all, I'm trying trying to give more shout outs, right? I have a platform and I have the ability to help people that I think are doing good work and trying hard, and so I have no problem doing that. Anyway, she does busts, and not many do busts. So first of all, I mean, some of these miniatures look really cool, and there's like alternate versions of all of them depending on what you're doing. I thought this was a very cool kind of necromancer kind of thing going on there. But the bust, this is amazing, by the way. I love this. And actually, all of her miniatures are like part of a story, and they're characters, but from different times. So she's put a lot of thought into what's going on in the world. But again, the busts, super cool. And again, you don't get that very often in these Patreons. In fact, this was like the only one I saw that was doing busts. If you know another Patreon that's doing 3D printable busts, let me know. Be interested, because I do like these larger scale canvases to paint on. I think they're quite nice. And again, there's an alternate version, the one where she has a monkey, and where she's wearing a bunny mask, and all sorts of just fun stuff like that. Okay, moving on. Forgotten Legends, Worm Emperor. I mentioned this last time. I'm mentioning it again. Over 1,000 people have followed it, so it's definitely getting big. That is linked in the description below as well, so you can click the notify me on launch and know when these crazy, interesting minis with this weird worm thing coming out of his back is coming. Moving right along. Twisted Fables. I backed that too, even though I have, but it's actually like right there. I may be cropped out in my little corner I'm quarantining myself into, but trying to stay safe. No, I wanted the deluxe edition, and the expansion. I really enjoyed this game, like a lot. Like, this is a fun game. I am constantly, my patrons are asking me questions all the time, and I'm constantly thinking like, oh, I guess you could spec the character this way, or, you know, I've never tried doing this, or I've never done that. Like, wouldn't it be interesting? Like, I always tend to go to the twists, at least the kind of middle level twists, and do that with the skills. It'd be interesting to try and find out which character would work really good with this, but just do the basic cards and not really do much skills, and just always have these basic cards. You'd pretty much be able to play them all the time, right? Because you're not confined by the skill. Would that work? I don't know. Probably not, but you can theory craft, like, okay, how would I do that? What character would I use? How would that be useful? Or could I do it where I can, anyway, there's a lot there. I had a lot of fun with them. The miniatures look super, super nice. Again, they're a little bit larger too, at 40 millimeter pretty much, which is awesome. So looking forward to that. And, we unlocked an art book too. So congrats everybody for that. I'm excited for the art book because the art is pretty. Moving on. I'm not even going to play this. Tainted Grail Wave 2 official unboxing. I'll link it down below. You can, if you're not one of the 7,000 people who have seen this, you can see it. I'm not going to do it because I always try to give you my live reactions and not some kind of preconceived notion based off somebody else's unboxing. So when you see me unbox something, it is the first time I'm seeing something, if I can help it. So I'm not going to look at it, but Tainted Grail Wave 2 is there. I don't actually know if I'm going to get it. So if you didn't know, they sent me the Tainted Grail, and I unboxed that and painted the Knight Errant, who looks great painted, by the way. It takes that mini from like a 7 to like a 10. Like, it looks really nice painted, I feel. Anyway, that's a huge Wave 2 box. So that's going on there. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to show you an unboxing. You'd have to talk to Marcin about that. But I did back Etherfields all in, so I will be getting Etherfields. Moving on. Primal, I got to mention Primal again. Look at that. They're teasing new stuff by showing you the back of a character. So we've seen this guy before, but it's cool to see the art. It's cool to see kind of a close-up of that hammer. That hammer looks freaking awesome with the mouth and the stone in there. It looks freaking cool. And you get to see the kind of the back of him too. They're still working on it, and it's going to be on Kickstarter. They did contact me, and we will be working towards a prototype. So I'll be showing that off to you guys at some point. That'll be exciting. They're in 2021 though, so I was just showing you the new info, but it's not ready yet. This is huge. This is Darkgate Games. This is their previous game that looks super, super cool. I'm excited for it. But it's finally shipping, and so that looks cool. This is all for EU. And that's a lot of boxes. So, they are actively kind of working on delivery. It sucks they couldn't quite get this out before they, launched Neo-Morphosis, but, I suspect that this will help them in the pledge manager a lot as people get this game and enjoy this game. It's Dark Rituals, by the way. That they'll be like, you know what, I want to kind of see what else you're making. Cause it looks really good. Again, back to that as well. ISS Vanguard, speaking of Wiccan Realms, this is on GameFound, not Kickstarter. So again, link to that below, and you can click the notify me on launch if you're not one of the 14,600 people that have already done it. And yeah, it looks cool. If you do it early, you get the 5 USD. I'm not into this 3-ring binder. It's weird to me, but I need to actually see it before I guess my initial reaction is no, I don't want office equipment. But I honestly, I haven't looked into it enough to really know for sure. I do like that there is a male and female version of each character. I think that's awesome. And I must say, you got to give them credit here. While I think some of these aren't going to hold detail as well as they would probably like based off the renders, the design and sculpt of them, especially with the base, they have gone all out. I remember in Nemesis, when they didn't do all the bases, and they were like, you know what, we'll do all the bases, but this is like a texture, right? And then Tainted Grail, they're like, oh, we'll do it, but again, it's just a texture. Look at the bases on these. Like, I love it. You can get so dynamic stuff, like a guy crouched down looking at that. If you took that away, he'd just be looking like he's squatting to poop. Like, but it's not. Instead, he's picking up this plant and investigating it because he's a science person. I think that's awesome that the science people are investigating the plant life, and, you know, the security people have their weapons out and are kind of like on the lookout. I think that's great. The recon people are either, you know, traversing fast or kind of pointing the way, and it all just makes sense, and I actually really like seeing that. I think that's really, really well designed there from a sculpture standpoint. The art's gorgeous. We all know that's going to be the case. Like, kind of picking out the away team. I don't know what's going on here. I haven't looked into it enough, but I love the colors. And I think it looks very simple and intuitive, which I like. So we'll see how that all turns out. I guess I'll keep you posted. I think I need that drink here soon. Skeletor, Masters of the Universe. This is by Archon Studio. They already shipped their He-Man stuff out to people who backed that, and now you can get Skeletor, everybody's favorite skeleton with a hood. So you can do that, and he's on, you know, about just like He-Man was. But it looks great. You also get the in-game card, so it's not useless. Again, their game is only for the EU, and then Command's game is only for like America and the rest of the world. So EU kind of gets their own thing with Archon. I'm actually a little jealous because Archon makes some great miniatures, but it'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to compare the two because I don't live in America, but we'll see. We'll see what can happen. Okay, so moving on from that. And we got Frostpunk. Now, this has ended. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Glass Cannon Unplugged for their first campaign that did wonderfully well at 2.5 million euros, almost 19,000 backers. That's incredible. It looks like one of the best solo games that I would ever play. Like, I really like the style of it and would play that all the time if I played solo. But as I said during that GIF, I don't. I play for the interaction and the kind of community interaction that I can get there. And so probably not for me there, but for solo, oh my gosh, yes, this looked good, and good on them. And again, it was one of those things where they had like a beloved series, just like Mythic Games, and then they just did it right. Like, that's all you got to do. Okay, now, I said I was almost done with Kickstarter, and here we are on Kickstarter. This is late for a reason. So this is Dire Alliance Horror by Blacklist Games, but if you thought that they were just going to have one campaign running at the same time, you were wrong, because even though Kickstarter has it against their rules to even have two at the same time, they went behind Kickstarter's back to go to Indiegogo to do Street Masters Tide of the Dragon with a brand new expansion plus a reprint of the old stuff. Now, they said it was because it was easier to buy this stuff, but I see nothing here that Kickstarter can't do, so that's kind of silly on their part. But, you know, I guess they can spin the story however they want on why they had to release two campaigns at the same time. I might talk about this more, but I want to give them their fair shake first. I'm going to email them and see what they have to say, but I'm not going in there unbiased. I think it's terrible that you couldn't wait more than 6 days to launch one of these. Like, by all means, launch. I know the story behind this, where they need to get it out to backers. That's fine. Then do that. Just don't tell me that you can't survive as a company without waiting 6 days. 6 days is when Dire Alliance came out after that. That's kind of silly. I think. But maybe they were going to go under and they wouldn't be able to survive as a company if they waited 7 days or 8 days or 9 days, or I don't know how long this Indiegogo thing's going on. 52 days left. Okay, whatever. When can they cash out? If they're not cashing out until 52 days, then they're waiting like 2 months anyway. I don't know what the heck is. Will receive all funds raised even if they do not meet their goal. Okay, I don't even know what their goal was. 65,000, so they met their goal anyway, but I don't know if they can cash out right away or not. If they can't cash out to 52 days, then they could have freaking waited to launch Dire Alliance. Don't be silly. Don't believe your corporate spin. Okay, moving on. Signum Workshop. That's all I'm going to say about this, because I might cover this in a future video dedicated to their... We're running 2 campaigns at the same time. What I will say is, hashtag make games, not campaigns, and support the cause. By all means, if you see a company that has so many campaigns that they're running them parallel to each other, you can feel free to use that hashtag anywhere. I don't promote spamming, but I promote that hashtag anywhere it's earned by a company. Signum Workshop, they're going to have a Kickstarter out soon. They don't yet. I'm actually part of their Patreon because I think their miniatures are super unique looking. Like, look at this dude here and this freaking wolf dude here and all sorts of other stuff. But they are going to be doing a Patreon as well. Speaking of which, again, you can get this model for free. As you can see, they're going to have some unlocks and some other stuff and some cool stuff. I think it looks interesting. And so, again, you can certainly take a look at this and get ready for the Kickstarter. This is a cool one. This is Forest of Radgost. Radgost. I don't know. The art looks amazing. The game looks so pretty. I don't know too much about it. Cooperative storytelling, paragraph based. I don't know what paragraph based means. But whatever. I like dice rolling. I like big maps. I like card decks. And I like character development. I like all the words. I even like paragraphs. So, anyway, look at the art here. It looks so good. It looks kid friendly. But it's still like Slavic in design. And I mean, I love the look of this. It just looks all so good. I love the like almost runic looking writing that they have there and everything. Look at the map. Looks, I mean, again, I don't know exactly how it plays. As long as the miniatures are kind of, static / plain, but unique. So while, this may not be a particularly exciting miniature, I've never seen a guy coming out of a horse's butt before that isn't yeah, it just, I'm sorry. The art looks good. The back looks good. All of this looks, oh, look at that. Oh, it just looks, this picture right here is just very pretty. I love it. So anyway, I'm going to link down to this. I think it looks really, really cool. It's going to be on Kickstarter here soon. And, yeah, looks nice. Okay, so next up I have a little bit more of Orbital, actually. Again, I told you this might be a little disorganized. I apologize for that. But here you can kind of see a little bit more of it. Obviously, it's not terraforming Mars. It plays a lot different. I actually really like the art style up here. I think that looks kind of nice and kind of cool. It's kind of a... Oh, I don't know. It's not realistic, but it's like a kind of a painted in kind of thing here. Anyway, it's got a unique solo experience, apparently. I like smooth and dynamic gameplay. I don't know exactly how it is, but it's kind of the same thing where you have these modules and you're kind of putting everything together. But again, I'd have to see a video, and that's why the Kickstarter is so nice, because you kind of get a video and you just can visually get it. And when you have that in your head, then you can go down. At least that's what I do. All right, we are on the home stretch. Next up, we have a brand new announcement. So the Red Joker, who did Oko Chronicles, which is right there. Love it. It actually won my like hidden gem of the year or something like that for last year, or indie game of the year. Very underappreciated game, super unique dungeon crawl, beautiful miniatures. I actually painted some of them and they look great, I think, personally. Anyway, I might pop them up on the screen here if I remember. And anyway, it looks super, super nice. They are doing a new Odyssey line of games. So they have a Chronicle lines of game. Now they're doing an Odyssey line game. So it'll be different gameplay. Or the first one's going to be Cyber. Thanks to Cyberpunk 2077. I think Cyber's kind of in vogue right now. And I'm fine with that because I think it looks super cool. Yeah, I like how dark this one is. So a lot of them go super bright, colorful neon. I like how this has a neon, but it's very gritty. It's been raining. It's wet. I like that. There's a banana neon sign. Anytime there's a banana neon scene, I'm down. I don't know about that. But anyway, I will be getting a prototype of this, so I'll be showing it off in the future. I have no idea how it plays like, though. So, hopefully I like it. Looks cool, though. Next up, Bardsung. This is by Steamforged Games, and it is their own IP. Therefore, I actually have high expectations for this. From what I can tell, Steamforged Games, when they have their own IP, like Guild Ball or something like that, if they don't cancel it, sorry, they really put their effort into it and really kind of make it nice. It'll be November 10th. So you can follow the campaign, and again, there'll be a link down below to all this. It looks really nice, though. I like it. I just like the style of it. I love the sideways ears. I think it's great. It just looks really good. He looks like Aquaman, but as a centaur, but that's okay. Anyway, I think it looks great. Just from like a visual thing. Don't know too much more about it, though. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, next up you have Kingdom Rush. Now this is kind of interesting. This is Lucky Duck Games, and I might have an opinion on this that is counter to what you may think I was going to say. So, what's going on? Essentially, they want to have this at retail first before it hits the Kickstarter backers. They're asking for permission because essentially they're waiting on the Spider Goddess expansion before they ship it out. They're not wanting to or unable to do it twice where they ship what they have out and then ship that out. Some companies are able to do that and have done that in the past. I don't pretend to assume how much that costs or what the logistics is of that or where they are financially or anything like that. So it's kind of a moot point there. Either way, they have it where they're going to have all of our stuff kind of there, but they need to wait until later when they have every piece before they can actually finally ship it to us. Because everybody gets the Spider Goddess expansion, so everybody's on hold there. That being said, essentially they have a cutoff to get it to retail in time for Black Friday and the Christmas cycle and all that. If they don't get it ready for them at that time, then logistically wise, they'll just have to do it later and they'll cancel with their order for this year, and they just won't have a good, financial retail presence based off that. So they are asking if it's okay to release the core game only to retail. And they said, like, hey, we'll honor what you say. I would have preferred them not to ask. And here's why. Let me explain why. Because normally you're like, well, they should include their backers and their consumer rights. KOA, right? King Average, what are you talking about? Okay. This is not the first time they've had to make a tough decision. You have to make decisions all the freaking time making these games. You're going to be on your third round of freaking, working on this one stupid steel mold, trying to get this model to look right and fit this one piece in. And you're going to have to make the decision, okay, do we match the render or do we maybe alter it so this works and we stop paying for all these other tooling processes and time delays and all this stuff? Or you have to decide, what cards start to use inside of your cards, and it's like you ever advertise that. And so, there's all this kind of stuff that they have to decide as a company how they're going to ship it. Are they going to insure it? Are they going to do it all piecemeal or not? Where they don't ask you, right? They just have to make a business decision, and we just have to trust them as backers that they're going to make it with our best interests in mind as much as possible and still function as a company, obviously. So I don't know why they would ask, because my hard part is, and most people have said yes, and I think that's great. Honestly, I don't actually care that much, in the situation. As long as they're getting around the same time, I mean, it's fine. Explain it, but don't not explain it. I don't want to see this in stores and have no explanation. But as you say, a lot of yeses, but then you'll see there's a no. Where's that no? This person right here says no. Now the problem with asking is, now you've explicitly been told by this person who gave you money, no, I don't want you to do that. And now you're going to do it anyway because more people said yes. And what's more, is it 49%? Is it 30%? Is it, are you willing to go against 30% of your people saying no? 25% of your people saying no? 40% of your, I don't know. I don't know what the number is. I don't know if they know what the number is. And so when you ask and you put it out there and people explicitly tell you, I don't want you to do that, and then you do it anyway, that's a real bummer to them. Now, anybody who says yes wouldn't have cared as much if you had made the decision, like, hey, okay, we got to do this. And then you wrote, essentially, hey, we had to do this. Let me explain. Everybody gets the Spider expansion. It'll be here soon. We just had to make it in there because if we don't, our recorder will suffer a lot. And I guarantee all the 99% of the people that said yes would have read the explanation just like we just did and said, I understand. The people who said no, however, would be even worse. Right? Or sorry, would actually be better because they weren't asked. They didn't tell you no. They would have told you no, but you didn't ask. And so they didn't explicitly say, no, don't do that. And you went and did it. So they're like, well, I wish you wouldn't have done that, but whatever. Now it's a bummer. I can't pronounce this guy's name. I wish there was another no. I'm sure I don't wish anything, I guess. I'm sure there are other no's, but as you can see, the majority, yes. There's over 2,000 comments. I'm not going to go through them all. The problem is once you ask, then you get explicit responses. And some of your backers are saying, no, don't do that. And then if you do it anyway, you're just essentially not listening to that, whatever percentage it might be. And that kind of sucks. As opposed to, we made the best decision we could in a tough situation, and then I want to explain it to you in full transparency. Putting it up to us so that people can even have the opportunity to say no, I think is worse. If my kids were out and did something that I wasn't happy about them doing, they're like, well, I tried to make the right decision. I guess it was wrong, but I did try. I might be a little bit more understanding than if they had asked me specifically if they could do it. I say no, and then they did it anyway. Do you see how that's worse? Because, one, they just try to make their best judgment. And while it was a bad judgment, and they might still get punished for the bad judgment, it at the end of the day, they weren't explicitly disobeying me because I didn't explicitly tell them not to. But the moment you get the opportunity to explicitly say no to something, and you do it anyway, then you're explicitly not listening to that person. And as that person, that would really suck. Again, I wouldn't say no in this situation, but as you can see, others will. And so, it's kind of an interesting thing. I wanted to kind of talk through it there. It is kind of a crappy situation. I can understand it, and stuff happens. I at the end of the day, I try to be a little understanding. But to specifically ask and then have some of your people who gave you money, this person here gave just the same money that I did, right? Same money in their bank account. And he's saying, no, don't do that. And they're going to do it anyway because most people said yes. And I get it. It just, I wish they wouldn't have even asked. I would have this guy, look, capital N-O, no, don't do it. You will make Emmanuel Person very upset if you do this. And you're going to do it because RZNA said yes, and Tommy Burns said yes, and Chris Kim said yes. Yeah, it's really messy. The moment you ask, you're going to get two different responses, and you have to pick who you listen to. It's much better, in my opinion, to always keep the consumer in mind. Always keep him in mind. But make the decision as a business and then explain it. Don't give the opportunity to explicitly not listen to people. Anyway, just my 2 cents there. Crappy situation obviously to be in either way. You'd rather just everybody always be happy. But I hate seeing those no's and knowing that they're not going to be heard. And then I can only imagine how that feels as somebody who paid for something. They asked what you wanted. You told them what they wanted and they didn't listen anyway. That's a worse situation to be in. Warchief Gaming. This is by a group of ex-Blizzard developers. They are making tabletop games. What that is, I don't know. But they have a website and they announced that they're going to be a thing. Look, there's some stuff here. Like, it looks kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on. There's like some weird Necron dude. Yeah, so there's a little bit of information here, but really what it is, we'll have to find out. It definitely looks interesting, though. It's going to be big, obviously. They have a nice professional looking website, which is nice. My voice is going out. My goodness, guys. Psyko Games. They're making Shattered Chaos. You may have seen this. Really wanted to show you here is that they have a rulebook. You can look at it. They also have a trailer. It's not on YouTube, so it doesn't really play very well. I had to download it to play it. Put your stuff on YouTube. I don't like proprietary. Okay, wait, there it is. Well, at least there was the words. Wait, there we go. Okay, we're starting to get it, maybe. Anyway, I'll let it play in the background a little bit. A little bit more information. October 2021, but I wanted to let you guys know that they kind of now have a trailer out now, and it tells you a little bit more about the game. That art looks great, by the way. And they have the rulebook. You can kind of read about it a little bit as well. Again, I think the miniatures and the design look fairly interesting, pretty unique here, which I like. They all seem pretty dynamic. Like, I love the walking forward archer chick. That's freaking cool. This dude is awesome, and big-headed imp dude I think is also actually kind of silly. So anyway, looks kind of interesting, and some more info there. Moving along, Magic the Gathering. Never covered that before, but I love Magic the Gathering, so I just wanted to share about it. First of all, there's the Secret Lair. If you know what the Secret Lair is, it's their version of FOMO. It's an overly expensive, exclusive set of cards that are very limited in availability. What are they doing with this one? They are doing Bob Ross painting basic lands for $30 to $40. Basic lands, $30 to $40, but they are Bob Ross ones. That's been a joke for forever. They're actually, sounds like they're going to make it. This is a leak. We'll see if it's real or not, but it seems to be the case. Either way, that's if you play Magic the Gathering, you like Bob Ross, and you want that, and you have $40, burn a hole in your pocket, you can get 10 of them. You have to buy a couple packs if you want your whole deck, though. Okay, my Patreon. Now, this is not a plug for my Patreon, per se. It kind of is. It kind of is. We are doing a November painting contest, and there's going to be legit prizes, and we're talking like we're going to give away like $100 worth of my merch, like a ton of stuff. So if you want, we're talking like shirts and hoodies and mugs and stickers and all sorts of cool stuff. Well, I think it's cool. Anyway, it will be available to all of my patrons. Again, even if it's just $1, that's fine. Essentially, be mostly running through my Discord. We have a whole section there where you can post your work in progress and post kind of here's proof that it's not painted yet, and then here it is painted. It's hidden away from the judge. If you don't know who the judge is, it is Banda Inku. He actually has his own YouTube channel. Go ahead and link to that below. He posts long form painting videos that are amazing, and that's why we didn't want him to compete, because he would win. So I'll be in there and I'll be painting something. It'll be a lot of fun. It's mainly just there to motivate us to paint, and just to kind of maybe try something really out there. There's people that are going to be messing with like, still water and stuff like that. There are going to be people who are trying these big miniatures they haven't done before, and hips models and all sorts of cool stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be in all of November. And then at the end of November, we'll announce a winner and we'll give away some cool merch. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. So again, no pressure, but I just wanted to let you know. I wanted to kind of put that out there so that if you were interested in a painting competition, it's just kind of a single entry thing, right? For the most part, we're going off the honor system here. So we're not expecting you to, do this monolithic thing or something like that, just paint a miniature and submit it, and we'll have a few categories for our judgment. All the rules are in my Discord on that thread, so you can always take a look at that if you so choose. And I'll actually have a post on my Patreon here very soon, posting the rules as well for anybody who doesn't want to use Discord. Anyway, that's that. I'm not good at plugs. This, however, looks freaking awesome. Okay, so this is the November Kickstarter for Axis Mundi Games. This is for Sankokushin, coming out soon. I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I feel people don't look at miniatures enough. And what I mean by that is I don't think they look at why things are the way they are. So let me kind of explain this. So she's like the goddess of death or something like that, right? And if you notice, she has burst through the Torii Gate. So if you don't know what a Torii Gate is, it's kind of to like section off the sacred area, right? And so if she's bursting through this sacred area, literally breaking it down while rising up, she's essentially elevating herself and expanding past her own normal reach. And that's crazy. And if you notice, there's a lot of either anger, where this person looks like they're either trying to attack him or hold her back or whatever, or kind of like reaching for her. There's some people that are just like sad about what's going on, like these two people here, and what the amount of emotion and the amount of power flux sounds weird. The amount of shifting in power that she's displaying here, rising up like this, breaking the Torii Gate, while people are trying to literally attack her and drag her down and keep her from doing this, is kind of incredible. And something I don't think a lot of people know. They're just like, oh, well, pretty miniatures. And it's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. But the overall, what it's saying, I think, is really cool. It's one of those things where I imagine I could keep looking at this and keep thinking of more about what it's signifying and what it's telling as a story, just as a set piece. And I think that's really cool. I forget how big it is. I think it's like 140 millimeters. So it's big. It's big. I know that much. Hopefully I can show it off to you guys. All right. Now I'm going to end on Mythic Battles Ragnarok, because obviously Mythic Battles Ragnarok is going to be awesome. Because Mythic Battles Pantheon was great and Norse mythology is great. And so you combine those together and it becomes great. Mythic Battles Ragnarok, great. Again, the art looks great. I love that. I want to kind of show a little bit more art and a miniature. So again, I love this kind of, I don't know, just the action of this. I really, really dig. And it's kind of the coloration of it. And then of course, here's that pretty much that miniature, or that person as a miniature. And you can see how she's kind of leaping, and a really, really well done, sculpt design there with the kind of the slightly tilted sword in the back there, shield up front, kind of lunging. I think that looks great. It's going to be awesome. Of course, I will be covering that once it's out and once we know more, so be on the tune for that. If you liked this amount of news, if you appreciate how much effort and how many hours this took me, because oh my gosh, please click that like button. It does help a lot. It helps the channel, helps the video, and it makes me know that I was all worth it and that I did a good job. Obviously, you can comment and let me know what you're interested in. If I missed anything, let us know in the comments. Not just me, but everybody, right? By all means, share links. I don't care. If you know of something that excites you, share it with the rest of us, and so we can all kind of benefit from that. I think that's great. Let me know what you thought, or if you disagree or agree on anything. I'll say I'd be interested in that. And subscribe if you want to see unboxings and detailed videos and reviews and all that kind of early looks of pretty much most of the games that I cover. I do try to continue to cover and continue to let you guys know more about it. So with that out of the way, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to go get a drink of water. You should probably go stretch your legs. Have a great rest of your weekend.